Greetings all, and welcome to another Tale of Woe. I'm your storyteller Tim, and today we continue the story of the adventures in Ravenloft. After the mishaps in the Burgermeister's mansion in the town of Valaki, Nuru and Wallflower spent a little bit of time outside of the town. I'm going to skip the story forward a little bit at this point. Essentially, what happened is that after their escape after murdering the Burgermeister's son, they actually happened upon where a windmill where a group of hags were living, and this turns out this is the location where the dream pastries were made. It turns out that the secret ingredient was children. And so Wallflower, although enjoying the taste of these pastries, wasn't going to have any of that. So the two of them making their way into the building, managing to rescue a small group of kids and take out the hags. Unfortunately, Nuru's pyromania happened to get in the way, and the windmill was on fire. And in the session preceding that, we were introduced to our new characters. At this stage, it was pretty obvious that the previous two people weren't really going to be coming back all that often, so we decided to get a couple of new players. Our first character that we got in was Selena. She was a tiefling warlock who was actually sent to Ravenloft. How she got in, I have no idea. We just sort of hand-waved that. But her mission or reason for being there was she was actually sent by her patron to retrieve the book that Eris had been looking for. Essentially the one that had the information that they recovered in the very first session, the one that the sage had. So her job was to secretly acquire the information from this book, or even get the book. And she was accompanied by Give, a fighter, human bard, who was a hired bodyguard for Selena. So the two of them arrive and see the craziness occurring. Basically, you have a group of three children being chased by a zombie elephant outside who's trying to protect them. The windmill is on fire. People are trying to get out of windows. And lucky for them, Selena actually has wings. She's able to fly. So she flies up and she retrieves Nuru from the top of the burning windmill, and the new party is formed. However, in this session also, arriving late to the session, we actually had the player of Eris, the wild mage elf. And so she, so as I'd planned before, she dimensionally drops into the session. I believe her line was the one from Thor Ragnarok. I've been falling for 20 minutes! So time apparently doesn't work the same in the dimensional shift as it does outside, which, again, makes sense, at least to me. Anyway. So the new party was formed. And so they decided, after Nuru and Wallflower had explained what was going on, that this Burgermeister had to go. They were never going to be able to return to Valaki, and this guy was essentially a dictator anyway, so having to deal with his crap, they were done with it. So they formed their plan being to infiltrate the back of the Burgermeister's mansion and essentially assassinate him in his sleep. And, for the most part, they had a good plan. They didn't bring the elephant along. They left the elephant in the woods guarding all of their camping equipment. And essentially the plan was for Wallflower to create a fog cloud that would secure their entrance, and then have Selena fly them over the wall, and a few of them actually climb over the wall. And I believe Give actually used disguise self. He actually went into the town ahead of them, went to the bar and found a guard, or one of the people that was guarding the Burgermeister's mansion, and disguised himself as this person and joined the guard rotation. So he was able to get in that way. Unfortunately, as any game that involves dice, the plan was solid, the dice rolls were not, and it goes immediately bad. They get caught out due to some very poor stealth rolls. And so the fight is on. Now, this is where it got absolutely hilarious. first round of the fight, Eris cast mirror image, basically creating multiple copies of herself to make her more difficult to hit, and she rolls wild magic. And the result she rolls is the first result on the table, either 1 or 2% on the percentile dice. And that is, you roll on this table every round for 1 minute straight. So she has 10 rolls sequentially going on here. The first roll that she gets is that she turns everyone within 30 feet invisible. So the party and all of the guards are invisible. No one can see anybody, except they do all see another soldier come around the corner, which they're not aware is actually Give. And so some of the party members actually end up attacking Give, and then they reappear, and then the guards attack, they reappear. Eris, wanting to make this as simple as possible, she decides to depart from the fight as quickly as possible. The second roll that she gets is ethereal music starts playing all around her, so I basically give her her own theme song. I think I actually used the theme from Kill Bill. As she's sort of rocking out invisibly up the stairs, so people are noticing, they're not worrying where the hell this is going on. She's separated from the party, and all the guards are all swarming to all the activity that's going on downstairs. So Eris using her invisibility to her advantage. She runs up the stairs and hears the Burgermeister's wife tells the dogs to take care of them, because they had these two massive mastiffs. Take care of those people. Let no one in. Her next round, she rolled Magic Missile at 5th level, but because no one was visible, I basically just said, because she didn't know what to target, so I just said, okay, you just fling magic missiles randomly everywhere. So the bedroom door explodes, the window blows out, there's holes in the roof and the ceiling. Basically, she just fires a massive array of magic missiles, and they go all over the place. And of course, now the dogs are free, and they see three versions of this elven sorcerer with magic crackling all around her. Her hair is going absolutely crazy. As soon as the dogs come charging down the hallway, it goes back to her turn again, and she rolls the result. She immediately turns into a pot plant. So there is now a pile of 4 pot plants in the center of the hallway, and the dogs are very, very confused about this. They go up to the pot plant to start poking at them, and they don't know what to do. And so I think a couple of rounds go by, and eventually one of the dogs attacks the actual pot plant that has Eris in it, and she's now back in. She manages to get a couple of blows out, and then her next result is all of her hair falls out. So all her hair falls out. She's fighting. Her magic is still working as normal, but she still gets the wild magic surges. She manages to fight off the 2 mastiffs, and by this time, the rest of the party has finished off the guards downstairs, and they have now joined her upstairs. As soon as she turns around to greet everybody, they notice she now has a 3rd eye that has grown in the center of her forehead. So she's gone from being this very attractive elven sorcerer with lightning bolts around her, with no hair. Now she has a 3rd eye. She's looking very mysterious and quite insane at this point too. And it's the party is having an absolute off the table. Everyone is just pissing themselves laughing, because it was really, really funny. She hadn't played the game in almost a month, and then she comes back with a vengeance, with probably the best dice roll you could possibly imagine in terms of party entertainment. So the group moved to the bedroom, and as they're moving in, the wild magic surge she rolls, and this one was that everyone takes D10 necrotic damage. So everyone goes, including the Burgermeister, who is cowering in his bed, and his wife has got a small sword that she was actually attempting to defend her husband with. And Nuru just bursts into the room and just uses her burning hands and just sets fire to the entire room. She kills the Burgermeister, she kills the wife. They're all burned to death. And I think at that point, essentially, because combat had finished, and actually I don't think the dice rolls were all that interesting for her at this point. I think she healed some points, she got her sorcery points back. The other results were fairly mundane. I think she rolled the result where she grows feathers in a beard, and then she sneezes and loses all the feathers. So, and she also got blue skin. So she was a blue-skinned, bald elf with 3 eyes and a feather beard, with lightning crackling all around her. And then after the minute the lightning crackled away, she sneezes, the feathers disappear, and that was where that session ended. They essentially come out of the front door of the mansion, and the guards see what's going on. They see the Burgermeister's mansion just burning, just flames going everywhere, and realizing that they've essentially been freed from the tyranny of this madman who's wanting everyone to be happy, happy, happy all the time, they throw down their weapons. They know this group is what they've done for the town, how they've given them their wine once again, and how they rescued people from the Wizards of Wine winery, because they had actually come back to the town of Vallaki at this stage as well. So essentially, once more, they were heralded as heroes of the town of Vallaki, which just goes to show that being a murder hobo and wild magic can sometimes work in your favor. And I'll see you next time for the next Tale of Woe.